Welcome back, everybody. This is Vivictus. I'm a reseller for ProfitTrailer and PT Feeder, which again is an add-on for ProfitTrailer that watches the market and adjusts your settings for you so that you don't have to hover over your bot. Please see the links at the bottom of this video if you're interested in buying either of the products or finding out where to get and read the wiki for either of them. I'm a reseller, as I said, and I appreciate your support if you think I'm doing a good job in helping you make more money. Also, my disclaimer, I'm not a trading professional, so don't rely on my input. It's all opinion and probably very bad, so you get what you pay for. All right, we just finished a video a bit ago about the introduction to trading styles in this world of trading with bots. I talked to you about poor trading practices. I talked to you about micro trading strategies, a midterm strategy, and a long-term strategy. And what I'm going to talk about now is I'm talking about my trading philosophy on ProfitTrailer. And it's really a medium trading strategy. And I'm going to try to teach that to you so that you can be a little bit wiser in how you trade so that you don't lose money or lose time when you're trying to make profits from your trades. So what is my philosophy? My philosophy is, and it's kind of evolved out of settings that I have learned about from 2 or 3 different people. Nafi, who is a ProfitTrailer reseller in Europe, has given me some of his settings, and I have modified those a bit, but those are very good settings that I learned a lot from, so I want to give him credit. Also, I learned a lot from some micro trading settings that we used to do in a bot that preceded ProfitTrailer. So it's been a combination of those 2 things where I've learned. What do I do in this philosophy? What I try to do is I try to pick between 10 and 20 coin pairs, and really coins. It doesn't matter what they're traded against. It really matters more about the coins that are really high quality. They have a high quality company behind them, or a use behind them, or something where you believe in it. I also try to pick of that grouping coins that have high volumes for sustained periods of time. So what you don't want to do is just look at the top 20 volume coins and pick those, because every day on all the exchanges there are certain coins that have a lot of volume for one reason or another. They may be new, they may be getting pumped, they may have just had some news, but they may quickly go from 1,000 Bitcoin average, over a 2-day period, back down to the 50 Bitcoin average that they have been doing for, the past 12 weeks. And if that happens, then, and you buy a bunch of it, probably at a peak, then it's going to go back down. It's going to be low volume. It's going to be at a loss position for you, and it's going to be hard to sell those. So you don't want to get caught in that. So I try to keep 750 to 1,000 Bitcoins. You'll see a little bit later when I'm talking about my actual settings that I've got those set a little lower, and I'll talk about the reason why in my settings. So what you need to do to pick those coins is you need to research them, and you need to learn what they do. What I like to do is I like to see if they have a real business strategy, if there's a need for the coin, if there's a problem that they're solving, something to make you believe in it or want to use it yourself, or at least that it makes sense to you that that coin has a use. I try to read about the team. You can often go on the website for that particular coin, and they usually will have information about the team. It is wise to read their bios to see where else they've worked, to look up the other places where they've worked and see if those have been successful projects. and just, who are these people? Are they connected, or are they nobody that you've never heard of and that has no real chops in this world? You need to go to the social media websites and you need to look at those. You need to look at their Twitter. You need to look at, their Facebook. You need to look at their Instagram. You need to see if they have a big following. Whether or not people are following something doesn't necessarily mean it's good, but it does mean that it is being traded emotionally, at least right now. So if people are excited about it and pushing it and buying it and trading it and telling other people about it, often in this world of crypto, word of mouth is the best marketing that you can get. So when people are excited, they tell other people, and that influences their purchases. A lot of times people on the internet who are doing YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever can talk about coins to audiences. And so if they're excited about them and they're talking about the benefits of them and why they believe in them, then other people will hear that and learn about them and buy them as well. Again, that's not the only reason why you want to be in a coin. You better have the other factors here too, but that's a good one. Reddit is also another good source. Reddit is, there'll be usually a master Reddit thread about a coin, and you can go in and read that. You can go back in history, you can go back in time and read and see where it's come from and see where it's going and see what the general sentiment is about this. They often have, or always have, I guess, a white paper, which is sort of the standard these days for launching a coin. They will have a technical write-up of what this coin is doing, what it's supposed to do, how it does it, why it does it. And you need to try to read that, even if you don't understand it all. Sometimes they can be very complex, but you need to see if you buy the story and buy the value. Did this coin come out at a time, a year ago or 9 months ago when every ICO was going big, no matter what it was for? Or has this come out before that time or after that time when things came out and people really needed to believe in them a little more? I think the ICO madness has kind of slowed down a little bit now, being that it is now February of 2018 when I'm recording this. So the ICOs don't have quite the hype that they used to, and there's the threat of different governments cutting down on a lot of these ICOs because a lot of them were hype or scams or had nothing behind them, and they're trying to protect people from losing money. So you need to look at that in relationship to the white paper and see if the white paper really gave you enough knowledge or understanding or excitement to say, yes, I would have bought this coin when it first came out. And finally, you kind of need to give the coin the final personal sniff test. Is this a viable product? Is it a viable idea or a useful coin? Will this be around in 10 years? Do you think that this is something that has true value and true ability to stay through, the fight for them to gain adoption and to gain maturity and to make this, sort of the Amazon or the Facebook or the Netflix of, the old internet bubble that came and saw many companies, 90% of the companies disappear? Which of these coins that you're trying to invest in, even if you're investing in them in the short term, which ones are going to be around? I think that's really important. All right. And once you find those list of coins, you're going to add them to your trading pairs. So you've been staring diligently at this screen, and I'll go ahead and open that up in just a second so that we can look at some of my settings. But a little bit more about philosophy. Once the research is done and you set your coins up in your settings, to limit it to those few coins that you're going to use, next thing we want to talk about is how much of your balance you want to use. So you can see my balance at the top of the screen here. I've got a little over half a Bitcoin in value in there. And you can see I've got a third of that left in available balance, so I don't have a lot of it chewed up with a bunch of coins that are just sitting there in a losing position. So what I suggest that you do, and I don't know that I always follow it to the letter, but what I suggest that you do is you use 40% of your balance for trading, and then 50% of your balance you would leave for getting out of a losing position using dollar cost averaging or the DCA settings. So 40% for your trading and 50% for DCA, and that leaves 10% left over in your account at all times in case you need to use it to, manually buy something or do something with that, transfer it out, whatever. It just makes you feel better when you have something left in your account that's available to you at all times, and I think that's just it's a conservative thing to do. When you're trading with this philosophy, you're going to set your profit goals in your pairs file to be a little bit higher, say 2 to 3% than you would. Again, this is a medium-term strategy, not a short-term or micro trading strategy, so 2 or 3%, as long as it's not in DCA. So if this coin buys and you have your DCA set not to kick in until it gets below a 1% or 1.5% loss, then it goes back up, and ProfitTrailer sees that gain and says, okay, I'm going to start to trail it up and try to get as much profit as I can with the goal of 3%. You will hit that goal quite often and exceed it. It won't be, you're not going to get a lot of 17%, gains with my settings, but you will consistently get 2, 3, 4%. But once it goes into DCA, you're going to change that philosophy, and this is an important distinction. Once it goes into DCA, that means that, as happens with crypto, due to its volatility, it has gone down quickly, and the bot did not buy it in a great place. So what can happen is that DCA can come in and the settings will do what they're supposed to do, and they will continue to buy the same quantity that you already own and average down the price of the coin to the point where it makes it easier for your low position to come back up and to hit profitability. But what you don't want to do is still have that 3% profit goal set in there because it will be very difficult to hit that, or it puts you at a higher risk to try to hit that. You may get a brief time when the coin pops back up and then goes down again, and if you have that set at 3%, you may never hit that. So what I like to do is go back to almost a micro trading profit goal of 0.6% up to about 1%, so that you can get in and out and get out of DCA as fast as you can, because what DCA does is it starts to use your balance very quickly. You start out with 0.002 Bitcoin, and then it doubles, and then so the first buy you've got 0.004, and then you've got 0.008, and then you've got 0.016, and then 0.032, and you can see that very quickly if you had 5 coins that did that and you had half a Bitcoin to use, you could chew through your balance really quickly. So you want to get out of DCA as fast as you can. So when I'm in DCA, I like to use Anderson settings in there, and we'll go through this in a minute, and I'll open up the configuration files and show you. But I like to keep the buy triggers pretty close together. I don't like it when you've got, I see people that start at 3 and then go to 7 on the next trigger, and then go to 12 on the next trigger, and then 15 and then 18. I hope we're never that far down in a coin. So I like to set the triggers at -3, -3, -3.5, -4, -4, and keep them pretty tight. And you'll see some variations like that. But you can actually set it at -3, -3, -3, -3 if you want to. It doesn't have to increase every time. And I think a lot of people are confused about that. But when it buys at -3, hopefully that percentage loss goes down a little bit from -3 to -1.5. So if it went down again and went to -3, it could buy again, and it might not go to -1.5 the next time it buys, or it might. But you see that you can keep it right there at -3 if you want to. All right. So my final thought on that is that the max number of pairs should be small again, so that you allow the bot to buy enough at any one time to limit your exposure. So it's another reason why we keep our number of pairs small in this scenario. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I planned on going through some more, but it got really long, so I'm going to go ahead and divide it up to make it easier on you guys to listen to it. In the next video, we're going to talk about the pairs file and how you set it up for the sort of conservative philosophy that I'm teaching you guys. And I hope this video has been helpful. And I know that visually it wasn't very interesting, but at least you understand the philosophy now, and then we can go into some specifics. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.